Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. In this video, I'm going to make a one-page personal profile website using Cwicly. I'm going to start with a fresh install and go all the way through to project completion. My goal is to get perfect 100s on desktop and mobile without using any caching plugin. I'm not sure if I'll get there, but let's see how close I can get. If you like the video, please subscribe. It helps to spread the word about the channel. When I said in the beginning of the video that I was going to start with a fresh site, that's a clue that this is going to be a long video because I'm going to go through the steps in the process of installing security plugins and SEO plugins and configuring WordPress and other things. So if you're just interested in Cwicly, then I did put some timestamp bookmarks into the video description, and feel free to just jump around to the parts of the video that you're interested in. One advantage of going through the whole process is that people who are interested in how I do things and what tools I use, you'll get a chance to see those here in the video. So I'm here on this website, davidmccann.com. And before I had WebTNG, I was posting articles and tutorials on this website, davidmccann.com. But at some point, I had to start my own company. When I did that, I named the company WebTNG, and I put a website up on webtng.com. Eventually, I moved the content from this site, davidmccann.com, over to webtng.com. And since that time, this website has just had content that I consider placeholder content. For example, there's some kind of joke videos and things like that on here now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out and reset this site to scratch. So you'll see how I do that. Okay, so I'm going to start out. I'm going to log into this site. The way I log into my sites is I use a browser extension called TurboAdmin. I press Control-Shift-Z, and it brings up a login screen. It takes me to the WP login page. Okay, this extension, TurboAdmin, and there'll be a link. Okay, this extension works on all WordPress websites where the login URL is the regular WP login. I do have a video, if you look in my list of videos on TurboAdmin, how I set it up. It's a pretty inexpensive plugin. So here we are on this website. It's probably got a lot of crap in the options table and in other tables. So I don't think that just deleting the posts and pages would really get me back to a starting point. So what I'm going to do for the next step is install WP Reset Pro. So I'm going to find that on my hard drive. Okay, I'm going to install it and I'll activate it. And a lot of the plugins that I have on my hard drive might not necessarily be the most current version. So I always kind of check for updates. I see that Elementor Pro has an update. Now I'm going to go to WP Reset Pro. I'll enter my license key and I'll click Save and Activate. Okay, I also have a video on WP Reset, and basically what I'm going to do is just wipe the site. Okay, so we have several options. You can just reset the options, you can reset the site, or you can do a nuclear reset. All of them will leave the current user with password so you can log back in. They'll all leave the site title and whatnot in place, your settings. None of the extra database tables will be deleted if you had a plugin that created extra database tables. The regular reset will keep the current plugin and theme files and whatnot, and I want to get rid of all that. So I'm going with the nuclear reset, and here we go. By the way, I've got a backup of the site. I've copied the files from the media folder and things like that I want. So I kind of prepared for this ahead of time. And here we go. Okay, and so what you'll see is The media library is empty. We've got the Hello World post. We're back to the default pages that are installed with a new version of WordPress. We lost our theme. This is probably something they should update in WP Reset Pro. It's not a big deal. You can install it. It's already activated. All right, then go to plugins. Now it tells me there's a new version, but it doesn't really matter now because I'm finished with this. And if we look on settings, I'm just going to look and make sure that we've got we have the time zone, but this is set to Monday instead of Sunday. See that our permalinks. This is like a disaster in WordPress. What I do is set this to 300. So I don't use any 150 by 150. I set this to 600 and I set this to 1200. I'm not going to do any blogging on this site. It's just this one-page site. But when I do, I usually set the featured image at 1200 wide. Okay, so I'm going to save changes there. Let's see what we have. And this is our default 2022 theme with the Hello World post. All right. One of the advantages of building offline is you can do this last. But when you build online, even maybe on staging sites, I always install security plugins as the first thing. So I'm going to install Patchstack and I'm going to install BlogVault Malcare. So let's start with Patchstack. I've downloaded the plugin from their website, so I'm going to find that. Okay. All right. I'm going to go here to go to the security settings. It says it's activated and going, but I'm going to walk through these just to check. I'm okay. Remove the README file. And what needs to be automatically updated, I do vulnerable plugins. And then these are all things that you disable, like the scan for readme.txt, which is, I guess, one way to know if you have WordPress installed. Disable theme editor, user enumeration, hide WordPress version, enable activity log. This is important. Failed login attempts, upload failed logins to Patchstack so I can view it. If there's an issue, then I can view the history on the dashboard, Patchstack dashboard. Block application passwords, restrict XML RPC, restrict REST API access to authenticated users accessing it. And then what you enable reCAPTCHA for, and then your reCAPTCHA versions. Put in my keys that I get from Google and save those. Okay, then firewall, block for an hour after 10 bad requests over a period of 30 minutes. I usually make that 5. Let them use htaccess file, add security headers, prevent direct access to WordPress files, block access to debug log, disable index views. It's kind of browsing folders under WordPress, forbid proxy, comment posting. You can add custom htaccess rules here. You can enable country blocking, which I don't do. You can have a whitelist and a blacklist. So this renames the WP login, gives you a different page URL to go to. I don't do that anymore. It can really cut down on the churn, the number of hits to WP login. I stop the brute force attacks, and Patchstack has the option to restrict login hours. And Patchstack has two-factor authentication options. I'm not going to turn that on right now. I do if the site is getting hammered. Sometimes I'll do that, or if it's got really important info on it, like a membership site, or I'm selling something on the site. And one of the things I like about Patchstack, their two-factor authentication, is that all of these settings are also available on their central dashboard. So if you're on vacation or you lose your cell phone or something that has your key generator, then you can disable the 2FA from their dashboard and still get into your site, so you won't get locked out of your sites. All right, so save those. I'm not going to use the cookie notice, the logs. Because I downloaded the plugin from Patchstack, they embedded my license information in there, so I don't need to enter that again. So next, I'm going to go and install Malcare BlogVault. I've downloaded that plugin also, so I'll find that and I'll install that and activate it. They take you to the website to log in. Now, one thing I don't like about this is they actually use the same browser tab. So you sign in and they'll start syncing your site right away. And when they sync your site, after it's synced, they'll do a malware scan of it. So that's kind of the way that the BlogVault Malcare works, is that it scans your backups for malware, and that way you don't have all that processing done on your main website. They also have a firewall, so there is a little redundancy with Patchstack. However, I think the Patchstack firewall is a lot more robust. So I like the malware scanning with the BlogVault malware combo. I haven't ever had any conflict with the two firewalls being active. I acknowledge I have some duplication there. If we go look at the dashboard, this is my overview across sites. It shows what needs to be updated, the status of the backups, and whatnot. I'm mainly using the BlogVault Malcare combo for the backups. I love BlogVault backups. I've used them for years. They've been very reliable. The restores work great. You can restore a whole site. You can grab a single file. You can restore a folder. I'm really a big fan of BlogVault backups. Here's the dashboard for just this davidmccann.com site. And I just like to check to make sure that everything's turned on, like the firewall's turned on and everything. So that's good. All right, now one thing you see here is that it says performance 98%. So remember I said that I want to try to get 100 of 100. Looks like I'm starting out in the hole. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the site. You can do that here. So I'm going back to the site. We can see, okay, I've got these two plugins installed now. Let's start, like I said, let's start here. I've got pretty close to a default install of WordPress. I'm going to grab the URL and I'm going to open up a new private window and go to the site. And I do a kind of incognito window because your browser extensions can affect your Lighthouse scores. For this video, I'm going to be using the Lighthouse that's integrated into the Chrome DevTools. Okay, so here we are on mobile, and let's do the first report, the first scan. Okay, performance 87, accessibility 100, best practices 100, and SEO 92. All right, so not too great, but this is where we start out. There's some contentful paint here that's slowing things down. All right, let's minimize that. Let's go back here now and let's go to themes. And I always keep one core theme installed. So I always have two themes installed, the active theme and maybe a child theme, but also one of the core themes. I don't think that it matters that much. But anyway, I do that in case the active theme for some reason gets corrupted. I think WordPress will fall back to one of the core themes. So let's add the Cwicly theme. I'm going to find that on my hard drive and upload it. Okay, I found it, so I'm going to install it now. I'll activate it. So here we are now with Cwicly. And that's what it looks like. Remember, Cwicly expects you're going to make all of your theme templates using the full site editor and Cwicly. So we don't have much in the way of templates active. Okay, now I'm going to install the Cwicly plugin. So I'll find that and upload it. So I don't need to do that. They're saying you regenerate your Cwicly HTML, but this is a new site, so I don't need that. And let's go now to the Cwicly settings because I'll need to enter the license keys. So I'm going to pause the video while I do that so I don't expose my license keys. Okay, so I've got the license keys installed. While we're here, let's take a quick look at the settings. I can remove these icon sets, but I don't think it's going to make any difference. I'm not going to add any Google fonts. I'm not going to use maps. I'm not going to use the custom code. And under advanced settings, I can remove WordPress emojis. I'm not using WooCommerce here, so those aren't going to apply. And this, if you're using a third-party theme, not the Cwicly theme, then you may need to activate this in case there's some conflict with the Flex CSS settings between that and Cwicly in the editor. You can toggle that in that case. Cwicly has a nice role editor, but we're not going to need to use that. And Cwicly has a themer here. By default, WordPress is going to use, like if we look here, it's telling me, Cwicly's telling me it's using the index template. Okay, and with a normal theme, aka classic theme, if you want to create a custom homepage, the way you might do it would be you go homepage, Cwicly heading block. Okay, and then you'd go to settings, reading, and you'd set your home page here to that. Okay, but as you'll see, that kind of works. But let me show you the better way to do that with the full site editor. I'm going to go here and delete that. And I'm going to go into the site editor. Okay, and go to the template section. So the next version, WordPress 6.1, will have more options here for templates, but there is an option right here in the current version for a front page. So I'm going to select that, okay, and I am going to save it. I'm going to add something to it, but I just kind of want to show you what happens here. There is a link here between the templates in the full site editor and the Cwicly themer. See, now this front page exists in the list. Before there was only the index page. Okay, and we don't need to fiddle with the visibility conditions or anything because that's already set by the full site editor. So I'm just going to go in now and edit this. Okay, and I'm going to add a Cwicly section. And Cwicly has this nice feature that when you have a container block, you know, that can take inner blocks, then there's this stack icon. And if you click it, it's going to add the block into the container automatically, so you don't have to try to move it around. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and let's add a div. And in this div, see, it's another container block. We'll add our heading, and this heading we're going to say coming soon, and save. All right, let's go to the home page. Here's our coming soon. All right, now let's go back to our incognito window, and let's run the Lighthouse report again now with this Cwicly coming soon. And this will really be our starting point, I think. Okay, that's much better. Hundreds across the board. Of course, there's nothing here. And this is a simple site. So that's why I'm thinking I should be able to get hundreds across the board on desktop and mobile. Okay, SEO is missing something. And if we go down and look at that, it doesn't have a meta description. So we will add an SEO plugin towards the end, but that's going to be the last thing I'm going to try to optimize. And I'm doing these Lighthouse tests periodically as we go along. Depending on the website, normally I would wait till the end or near the end to optimize. But I'm doing it as we're going along here because it makes it clear some of the steps that you need to take and when they kind of get invoked. Let's go back here, and now I'm going to look at the page source. You'll see that there's some SVG images here for duotone filters. I'm not going to do blogging and stuff, so I'm not going to need the duotone. So the next thing I'm going to do is remove this. Remove these extra SVG duotone items. Okay, let's turn off those duotone filters. I think I saw a setting here in advanced settings, remove SVG filters for duotone. Okay, so let's turn that off also. So let's go back into the editor. Okay, now let's start building out the page. Maybe start with setting a few global options. I'll set a background color. And let's set color for, call this main, and we'll do this one and call it alt. I like blue. So that gives us some colors there. If you look at typography, let's make the text color this darker blue and set the text size 20 pixels. And set the page size at 1290. Save that. Now let's go and add a style sheet. Call this site style CSS. Create it and let's edit it. I'm just going to paste in a font family declaration there, just to use system fonts, and put a little margin at the bottom of the paragraphs. And let's save that. And oh yeah, you got to activate it by clicking this button. That's kind of a not obvious toggle. So let's change this to say David McCann. And then let's add an image, and I think I'm going to upload these two, and I'll use this one. Okay, so let's check the size. I'm going to set the size, which is the image size is 236 pixels by 250 pixels. And let's see, let's set the flex to be column and centered. And I think maybe on this section, then, so that's on flex. Okay, and I think I'll put the image over the name. Now let's add the text, and this stack icon makes it real easy to add into your container. So let's add a paragraph. I'll paste in some text there. Let's see, it's a little close to that. So let's give it a little margin at the top, and then this is pretty wide. So how am I going to handle that? I think I'll set the paragraph at 70%. How's that? That looks better. And then here, maybe set it for 90%. Okay. Now let's add some social media icons. So we'll go to the div and let's insert a div. Let's add an icon. And let's make the color our blue. Let's pick the icon This first one will be Facebook. Say 30. That looks pretty good. And now let's add another icon. I can do duplicate here, but I think when I do that, then it duplicates the IDs. So let's add another icon. Color will be blue, and the icon, this one will be Twitter. And the size will be 30. And then let's do one more. Let's make this one LinkedIn. And make this 30. Oops, I set the background on that one by mistake. Okay. This is pretty close to the content above it. So let's give it a little space there. Let's see, let's go to the div. Let's give it, let's say 150. And then go here and do space between. So now let's move this up under the heading. Alright, so we have our social icons. Let's save this and go take a look on the front end. Okay, that's a start. Let's go look at this then in our private window and do the Lighthouse test. See how we're doing. Okay, best practices went from 100 to 92. We're serving images with low resolution. It's saying image natural dimension should be proportional to the display size and the pixel ratio to maximize image clarity. I think it's looking for a source set or something. Let's see. Yeah, there's no source set here, so this is a JPEG also. So let's go and let's deal with the image optimization. So ShortPixel. Got a bunch of unused ShortPixel credits. And so let's get a WebP image on here. Okay, I'm going to have to go get my API key. So I'll pause the video while I get that and enter it. Okay, so I saved my API key. And yeah, I want to enable, let's turn on advanced. Okay, so I'll enable WebP, move EXIF if it has it. I think I want to try source set to fix this issue with Lighthouse. Okay, I think I'll say okay with that. Don't need to lazy load backgrounds. I'm not putting images in CSS files. Alright, I think I'm good. So let's go back. Let's refresh this. And let's run the Lighthouse again. That's quite a bit of space there at the top on mobile. Says the same thing again. Alright, I'm going to try something here. I know what I need to do. Let's go back to the editor. This image needs to be the larger image. I do have a larger one here. Is this the... Nope, that's the 250 by 236. So there's a larger one. And then we set the size, yep, to the smaller one. Okay, let's see if that made any difference. Yep, okay, so, whoops, performance went down. Grr. Okay, so what's the performance issue? We're getting some contentful paint. Reduce initial response time. Maybe ShortPixel was processing the image. Let's try that again. So I wonder if that image was being uploaded to the ShortPixel CDN. There we go. So I'm going to do SEO last. So we're doing okay here. And now the next thing I want to do is let's add another div to our section. And let's start adding some images. Well, first let's add an image. Okay, I'm going to upload a bunch of files here. Some buttons. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See what we've got here. So let's add the first one. This is WP Dynamic Data Toolbox. So I'll put some kind of link buttons to different projects. Okay, and so that's showing up over there. That's inside this div, right? No. Come on over. There we go. Okay, and let's give some margin to the top. Okay. Now let's add the next image. And this will be WebTNG website. I'm going to keep going here, so the next one is WebTNG Academy. And let's keep going. E360, everything Elementor. Okay, and let's I think I've got 2 more. Dynamic WordPress Facebook group. And 1 more. YouTube channel. David McCann. Alright. Let's set this div to be the same as that one. So our spacing, let's see, sizing, percent, 70%, and then on tablet it was 90%, and then I think we need to adjust the flex, and we want rows wrap close. Okay, I think I'm going to need to set the size of these. Yeah, it's set at 100%, so I think it's 94 by 260. So let's actually do this on the class level. It's going to be project buttons. And on design, let's give them a border. And we'll make it solid, 1 pixel. Okay, so if I've done this right, see what happens. Let's see. Okay, so that didn't inherit that. Maybe I did it wrong. So I think what I'm going to need to do is, let's go to global styles, global classes. Let's add one. Let's call it project button. Okay, so we're going to have our solid border, 1 pixel. Okay, we're going to have our size, 94 pixels by 260 pixels. And what else do I need? I think that might be it. Let's try saving that. And let's go back to the block inspector. Nope. There's no way to revert that. So I'm just going to give it some random things there. Do the same here. And apply the project button. Oh great. I made that change before that. Crap. Let's go back here. Do I still have this correct? Yep. Okay. So here's this. It's got project button. Now this. I give it some random characters here. There's no way to revert that. And I'm going to apply project button. Did I manually set the size on that? Something a little wonky there. Probably I don't understand very well. So I didn't actually set these. These came in that way. Maybe there's a setting here for those. But anyway, I'm sure people are going to give me a clue what I did wrong. Let's do this one now. Let's go to our div. And let's do space around. Looks a little better. Let's save. And let's go check our Lighthouse. Now that we've added those images. Make sure I didn't screw anything up. Or make sure there's nothing that needs to be adjusted. Okay, we're looking good. So far I still have to check desktop. But I'm going to do that at the end, I think. And now let's actually also go and look at what this looks like on the front end. Alright, so that's what this looks like. Typically what I do is I create something and then let it sit for a week while I look at it and think about it, and then I go back and tweak it. But I am going to remove a little bit of the space at the top here. So let's do that. I think that's in the section, and here we go, 150 at the top. So let's change that to 75. Or let's go 80. Save that and take a look. So that's kind of what I'm going to go with. Now the next thing we have to do is we need to add the links in for these things. Just out of curiosity, I want to count the clicks. I'm going to add a plugin, and this is one of my own. There's this plugin called Simple URLs, I think it's called. Yeah, this one. Okay, this one was taken over by Lasso. It was originally a simple plugin that was created by the Genesis Framework team long ago. And recently Lasso bought it, and you can see it used to have probably a 4 or 5 stars, and people aren't happy because, I think this might be associated with Automotive or something, and they start to add in extra stuff that the plugin didn't originally have, and people didn't ask for it or know that it was going to be there. So I did is I went back to an older version of this and forked it and made my own. And so I'm going to go find that and upload it. And I renamed my version Clean URLs, and I've been using this for about 3 weeks now. I'll probably put it up on GitHub or something. Maybe ask a few friends to try it out who I think were using simple URLs. It's a drop-in replacement for simple URLs, so it uses the URLs that were saved from simple URLs. I'm going to use this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the links for these and these. I'll show you. I'm going to do one here. I'll name this FB David McCann. I'll paste in the URL to my Facebook profile, publish this. Okay, and then I get this as the link. Okay, so I'm going to add the other ones. That's what it looks like here. And then what I do is I'll use these, the local link, and it'll count the clicks for me. Okay, so let me pause the video and add these other links. I've created all the links, so I copy the one that's the local permalink and go to the editor. Here's the Facebook one, and here's link, and we type in the URL. We want it to open in a new tab, and this is David McCann on Facebook. Whoops, there was a thing I have to do here to make it active. Okay, then I do the same for LinkedIn. Whoops, that was Twitter. Crap. So let's do that again. LinkedIn, new tab, David McCann, LinkedIn. And let's go back at this one. And we want Twitter. Okay, so that's those three. Then for here, dynamic toolbox, copy that URL. Let's see, there's an image alt. So I did fill in the values in the media library, so it looks like those might not be coming in, but it'd be nice if they did, that's the case. Okay, and there's no link for that. So the image tag doesn't have a link option. The way you handle that in Cwicly is that there's the ability here to add a div around the image, and then you can use the link wrapper on the div. So I'll add that. Okay, so I'll pause the video and do the other 5. Okay, so I've converted all these to divs and I've added the links. Now there was one more thing we needed to do. We needed to do the SEO plugin. So I'm going to go to the plugins. For larger sites, I've been using SEO Press Pro, but for simpler sites, I use Slim SEO because it's slim, and I think it's a good choice for a website like this. And let's go and let's see. So which features? I don't need breadcrumbs. I'm not going to need auto redirections or an RSS feed. So I'll save changes. Don't need to add any special code. Okay, so McCann, here you will find the... I like it when programs tell you what size to make. That's the Facebook one. Here's the Twitter one. Okay, and I'll save. And then here, I'll add these again. These are for individual pages. I'm going to have any, but I'll have them anyway. I don't have these IDs here for that. Okay, now we need to have a favicon. So let's see, how do we do that for a block-based theme? Because regular themes give you the option to upload that in the customizer. Let me go check that out. Okay, minor pain here is the way you do it with the block-based theme is you add it to the header. And the site isn't going to use a header, but let's see if I can fake it. Let's go to template parts, header, and we're going to add logo. Oops. Site logo. Now let's upload. And select. Now, here it has use as site icon. Yeah, so that's what you see in the browser tab. Alright, so let's save that and let's hope that isn't going to add the header. So I can see that up there and it didn't add a header to my page. I can kind of see that tab there. I can see it in the tab, so that's good. So now, last step. Let's go and do the test now. So we'll do a mobile test. Ooh, hundreds. Let's do the desktop version. Hundreds also. Awesome, awesome. Yay, celebration. So that's the walkthrough. Now for some summary and conclusions. I've been wanting to use Cwicly on a site for some time. Cwicly's still new and being actively developed, so this small site seemed like a good chance for me to get my feet wet. Previously, this website only had placeholder content. While it seems likely that a designer could suggest a layout that would be more attractive for my one-page personal profile site, this seemed like a good upgrade to me over what was there previously. I used Patchstack and BlogVault Malcare for security and backups. I used ShortPixel adaptive images for image optimization, clean URLs for managing outbound links, and Slim SEO for providing some basic SEO options. Early in the video, we saw that switching from the core 2022 theme to the Cwicly theme gave us a small boost. I guess this isn't too surprising as the Cwicly theme is a bare bones blank theme. I used the theme builder functionality of the Cwicly plugin to create the site homepage. For the most part, this was very straightforward. I did have one issue when trying to apply a class to the project image buttons. It seemed like the border settings were applied, but the size settings were not. That could be user error, but I'll check with the Cwicly team. I was hoping for perfect 100s for the mobile and desktop from Google Lighthouse without having to use any caching plugin. This is a simple site, so I thought that should be achievable, and I was glad that Cwicly did not add any bloat. It's always nice to see perfect 100s. Overall, I've been very impressed with the Cwicly team. They're knowledgeable and responsive. If you want to use the full site editor, then Cwicly is the way to go. Hope you found the video useful and interesting. There's a text summary on the WebTNG website, along with other walkthroughs, reviews, and resources. Thank you for watching.